Look at I can't look at myself. I can't believe that you're finding yourself already. It's kind of concerning. I'm looking at my hairstyle and stuff. I'm like, what is that? I'm Sarah Lavin and we're going to look at some old racing. The European Junior Championships in 2013. This is the final. Oh yeah, I remember getting out really, really quick, and then I kind of got to the first hurdle and was like in the air. My coach said she had a panic attack at that moment. Probably was the start of my inconsistent start. And then, yeah, saved the day as we came through, and it was that poor girl actually got disqualified, and she was a real contender for a medal. Francesca Hoffmann from Germany. And yeah, I remember the overwhelming relief that day because I think I'd gone in ranked second in Europe. But, you know, it's one thing going in ranked and then you have to actually like bring home a medal. Yeah, it was. I was really, really happy, and I guess that was Adidas UK signed me at the time after that, and I remember going to like an Italian square afterwards and everyone was so happy. Went to McDonald's that night, I'm pretty sure.
Is it nerve-wracking when an athlete gets disqualified like before you start?
Yeah. I remember actually that day could barely feel anything below my belly button. I remember that was the first time in my life I just wasn't prepared for the feeling, you know, of the I was a participant. I was just like, I didn't know whose body that I was in. I was just going with it. But when somebody gets disqualified, it immediately you feel so bad for them. Nobody wants anybody to get disqualified because especially it's such a fine margin. But you do kind of have to refocus, and you can't let emotion play in at that moment because really only, you know, everyone's done the same amount of training that you have to kind of reset. Yeah, and go again.
Did you ever get disqualified before?
No, touch wood, you know. No, and it's heartbreaking. I think athletes work so hard, and a momentary lapse of concentration can be so costly. I hate to see it. I hate to see it at championships, you know. So yeah, please God, don't worry.
And you mentioned that Adidas UK signed you there afterwards. So
yeah.
Did things change for you after that competition, would you say?
Yeah, I guess they kind of did, but I broke Derval's junior records that year. It was a lot of pressure it was put on my shoulders. I think I was joined 4th in the world ranked junior after that race, and yeah, it was almost like I was the new Derval, but people were putting totally out of context. Like, I still had only run 13:34. The Derval's record was 12:65, so there were enormous shoes to fill. The following year I did PB again, and Derval retired the following year, but like I still had a long way to go before, you know, there were massive shoes to fill, and I think that was kind of lost on certain people. They just assumed that, you know, so would I change anything? Probably not, because they do all shape you as a person and as an athlete, but all the good things often come with a price. I do remember there was a big gust. There was an absolutely mighty headwind that day. Oh yeah, that was yeah, I can't. That was a nice. I think in the final, that was maybe the heat, was it? I think the final was 1 or 2 false starts maybe in the final. I'm not entirely sure that day. Well, hard to remember it since that's what, like 13 years ago. Like, we're 14 now. Oh my gosh. It's sad that I still remember the headwind though, isn't it? I couldn't tell you what time I ran, but I do remember it was just like the strongest athlete was going to win that day, not necessarily the fastest.
And the people that you used to compete against, and knowing that like you're still doing it, what's that like for you now? Like,
well, Joan was still competing, like still with us. She was in Istanbul, and she's a great sprinter. Phil, her sister, we were the same age group growing up, so yeah, there's still a lot of people that are still racing, and you know, it's really nice with social media, and you know, there's girls I raced against when I was like 9, 10, 11 that we still follow. We found each other throughout the years, but yeah, it's still nice that sometimes you hear from them. But this was 2013 again, 11 years. I'd actually just come back from America, so I thought I was going to do college over there, but Noelle would kill me for my lead leg, but it's so bad. But yeah, no, I remember just being really happy that day. Yeah, 8:36 I ran, and yeah, that's a good time. Still standing, so will it last another year or two? I don't know. There's some good girls coming up.
41% of sports participants are women, yet 6% of sports media coverage in Ireland goes to women's sport. Over the past 4.5 years, we have shown up for young girls and women and tackled gender inequality in sport by giving female athletes the spotlight on a daily basis. Considering the amount of content we create, we have a very small team, literally. We want to keep bringing free content to all of you, and with your support, we can continue to deliver quality journalism and give female athletes the coverage they deserve. Be part of the change, get serious benefits, become an MVP today.
So the top 12 ranked times in Europe were given a bye from the heats, so you went straight to a semi-final. So it was really like all to play for. And you're only getting one race. You weren't getting a heat to kind of warm up into it. It was literally go for it. And you had to finish top 2, and then across the 3 semi-finals and the 2 fastest hot seats. So yeah, that was stressful. And the intros are so, sometimes you're looking at them when you're on the line, you don't even know what you're doing. Like, to be honest, there's no thought process. Well, I don't have a thought process of, right, when the camera comes on, I'm just like, you're concentrating on other things. You're not necessarily conscious of, like, yeah, or you're watching the camera kind of drift in and out because they're obviously getting cues from the TV production that you're like, come on, get on with it. We're ready to go home. And sometimes if you're in lane 1, they're sitting there for ages because they're waiting for the cue. So I always feel so sorry for the person in lane 1 because there's just a camera and they don't know whether it's on, it's off, or they could be there for like 5 minutes. This was a pretty stacked semi-final. I'm looking at the lineup now and I'm like, oh my gosh. Danish girl had been in the hot seat from the first round, and she had to do, so she had a big stint in the top 1. And yeah.
Do you usually like to be in the like second or third?
Oh, of course, you want to get the big queue is everything. Yeah. And the 2 girls ended up being 1 and 2 in the final. It was just a really tough draw, that kind of way. But it was a good race. 79, I think. Totally 79, which was a PB at the time. And yeah, so that put me into the hot seat. So I had the most stressful 10 minutes after that, because it's 10 minutes from like when the next heat get on, set up their blocks, they all get called out, and poor Meta and I were sitting there. And like, you never wish badness on anybody, but you were also like, don't run too fast to get, obviously you want to be in the final. Yeah I kind of in some ways had a feeling the 79 would make it, but you obviously can never be. So yeah, Meta and I had a very stressful 10 minutes. And we eventually both actually got through, so there was no fastest qualifiers from the last heat. We were so relieved. And then you have literally half an hour to get ready to go for the final by the time you get through the mix zone. And yeah, I think that's what people forget when you're watching at home. It might seem like an hour and a half, but there's a 50 minute call room. You're warming up for before your race event, so it's really like you're trying to get some kind of fuel into you to get going again. And yeah, and I was really happy with that race. Would have liked to have put out a similar race in the final, but I actually broke, I think, in the final the last hurdle in 2. Yeah, literally split it like that, so it wasn't quite as quick. But yeah, I think they were actually my 2 fastest times ever at that moment. So yeah, that was a good yeah, to be in a major finals that went from World Indoor Final that year to European Final to European Indoor Final indoors. That yeah, you want to be in major finals. That's where the business end of championships. So yeah, just need to go one step further now.
Is it nice to like look back on like where you come from and whatnot?
I guess they don't really take the time to do it. You're always looking at the next one. You never look back. So yeah, it kind of has been kind of nice. So I'm kind of nervous looking at some of them. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was a really hot race. How did you hold her? Did you know how hot a race it was? Poor Med. Yeah, the two of us sitting in the hot seat. That would have. Those smiles were not like inside. We were there. Yeah, we were praying. It's really. So yeah, but yeah, really nice. Alicia arrived and she was because I guess Julie and I maybe had blown up the fact that we were so excited to get 2 nights away. Alicia was like not impressed, so I think she actually went instead in a hotel with her dad and came back the following morning. I could run the pitch or I could go the whole way, but don't let's say her shoes hand it out to somebody else.
Was fashion a thing in athletics? And if it was, nobody told me.